Hello, everyone. Like Barnton said, I'm Meredith. I'm a senior at Tuscola this year, and I plan on attending nursing school in the fall. I'm super glad that all of you guys decided to come to Winter Retreat this year. I know that through my time in youth, I have found that each time I attend a church trip, I return home changed in some way. I'm sure that many of you are familiar with Wilderness Trail, but in case you've never been on trail, let me set the scene for you. A week on trail consists of you, your huge pack full of all your stuff, your group members, and lots of hiking. I don't know about you, but this all sounds pretty intimidating to me. My first experience on trail was in the summer of 2019. In the days leading up to leaving, I cried several times and constantly told my mom how much I did not want to go, as I listened to my brother tell me that I not only had to go, but that I was weak if I cried during the week. So, in an effort to prove my older brother wrong, I pushed through all of my emotions and faced my fear. Somehow, I made it all week without crying, except during foot washing. But I could not wait to report back to my brother about not only the week I had without crying, but the absolute amazing experience that I had on trail. I have continued to attend trail each summer since then and have thoroughly enjoyed each week that I have spent out there. So after completing several hikes on trail as a hiker, I felt that I was ready for something more. I needed a step up. I found myself longing for the trail experience all throughout the year. I just couldn't seem to get enough of what trail is all about. These feelings led to my decision to become a junior staff in the summer of 2023. As a junior staff, you hike an additional week with a group from a different church and help the hiking staff with all of their different responsibilities. The event that I junior staffed, we had a blast. There were lots of us from Waynesville, all with our matching shirts. Once we arrived at the property, we began our training to make sure we were prepared for the week ahead. As we wrapped up training and our groups arrived at the property, I felt ready. I was confident that everything would go just as I wanted throughout the week. After we met our group and began to gather equipment, I very quickly realized that my group was pretty inexperienced in the world of backpacking. Now, I am by no means a professional, but when they didn't know what a ground tarp was, I was a little nervous about how I was going to be able to help all of them. So although I was a little bit unsettled, I continued to remind myself that it was going to be a great week. I had the opportunity to help others have the same experience that I had had on trail. I was ready to rise up to the occasion, despite the challenges it might come with. It finally came time to hit the trail on hiking day 1, and I knew we had a pretty rough day ahead of us. My hiking staff had warned me that there were more than a few creeks to cross that morning, and that I would need to be point for the day. I typically don't like to be point, so I was a little bit nervous to lead the group and set the speed with these people that I didn't know. And I'm also not the most graceful person, so I didn't really know about the whole crossing creeks thing. But I knew that I needed to be encouraging for my group along the way, and I believed that we could have a good day even with some obstacles. A few hours of pretty tough hiking, we finally reached a spot to stop. Everyone threw down their packs, drank lots of water, and ate a good snack as we talked about the morning adventures. I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to provide some encouragement for the group. I tried starting some riddles, talking about how we had gotten through the hardest part of the day, told them that with each step further, we were just one step closer to camp. But despite all of my efforts to keep the spirits up, the group was not very eager about hiking. It felt like with each positive thing I had to say, they came back with 5 negative things. For example, I'd be like, great work, guys. We made it up that hill. That's awesome. And they would be like, oh, there's just another one right up there. I didn't really know how to respond to that. And I was feeling pretty uncomfortable at that point. So after quite a long first day, we finally made it to camp. And I will admit, I have never been so excited to see a campsite in my life. I was having a pretty hard time and was beginning to question if I should even have signed up for this. I tried to get everyone to go ahead and set up camp before we started relaxing and doing all the things, but that idea was shot down immediately. So what in the world was happening? Finally, I got them to set up the tents and get dinner out and ready to cook. And although I was feeling somewhat discouraged. I was determined to help my group. I decided that I would tell them a few stories and offer advice from my first couple of years on trail in an effort to lift them up. For example, on the morning of hiking day 2 of my second year on trail, as I was hiking along with Cecilia, I face planted. And I don't mean just a little fall. I mean face first on the trail with my pack on top of my head. And I got no help from Cecilia. She just laughed at me. And I also shared with my group that my first year on trail, my feet hurt the whole time. I was homesick for most of it, and it rained a lot. Yet, here I had come back. After trying to connect with them and sharing these things with them, I began to notice the group slowly open up. Everyone began to settle in and let their guard down. I observed a sense of trust develop in the group and a mentality formed that we were all capable of finishing the week strong, no matter what was ahead. While J staffing was a super challenging experience for me, it taught me lessons that I still carry today. This experience taught me that no matter how much you want to be in control or what you do to try and make things go your way, most things in life are out of your control. You can't control others around you, the choices they make, the things they say, or the attitude they have. This is something that I struggle with outside of Wilderness Trail as well. I am often bothered by things other people do and wish they would be a certain way. As frustrating as it can be sometimes, I believe that God puts us in these situations for a reason. I would not have grown as much from the experience if I had a week full of sunshine and rainbows. It would have been easy for me to just get frustrated with my group and stop trying. And there were several times that I just wanted to join in their negativity, but I chose not to. I pushed myself to control the one thing that I will always have control over, myself. While learning that the one thing you can control is yourself, I also learned the importance of controlling the things you choose to think about or fixate on. During the time I had with my group, it was very difficult for me to not constantly think about how my week was playing out. I had hoped for a week full of fun. That's not exactly how it turned out. I believe that God often takes our expectations of what is perfect and shows us a reality. After all, what even is a perfect week on trail? I knew that it wouldn't be right to spend all my time wishing for a different turnout, so I chose to do my best to find joy. I know sometimes in difficult situations it seems impossible to find joy, but I promise it is there. You just have to look for it. By the end of the week, I was beginning to find joy in the little moments with more and more frequency. Whether it was getting help cooking, seeing a pretty view, having a conversation with my group, or simply hearing positivity from them. I realized that there can always be joy if you are willing to live in the moment and be open to it. Last summer, I hiked on trail with a pretty awesome group. Shout out Charlie, Coleman, and Levi, and Hudson. Each time that I hike with multiple first-time hikers, it was the boys' first time last summer, I get reminded of what your first trail experience is like. The trail experience is designed in a way where most things are out of your control. This often leads hikers to ask lots of questions such as, how much further? Where is camp? What time is it? As I watched the boys last year experience all of the unknowns for the first time, I realized that it is natural to want to be informed or in control of the situations you are in. While I knew their questions weren't going to be answered, I tried to help guide the boys in the right direction and help them have a meaningful experience. At the end of the week, we made it to foot washing, and as we went around and shared how we saw God in each other and just shared good things from the week, Coleman shared with us that he appreciated the help and guidance that the older kids gave him throughout the week. I know all of the emotions that there are heading into a week on the trail, and I feel super grateful to have been able to help these awesome boys have a good week. The past several months, I have struggled arguably the most that I can ever remember. As a senior, I have been trying to figure out all of the things, and it has often felt like nothing has been in my control. College applications, essays, scholarships, deadlines, test scores. After all the work you put in doing these things and filling out applications, you wait. During the time of waiting, everything is out of your hands. No matter how strong your application is, or how much time you spend typing, the final decision is out of your control. For me, this has been extremely stressful. I have cried several times because I worried none of it would work out. I worry about choosing the right path, what friends I might make, doing well in school. In reality, I have learned that no matter how much I worry or stress about these things, there are few of them that I can control. So I want to leave you guys with what I want us all, including myself, to work on controlling. Let's do our best to control how we treat others, our outlook and attitude in situations, and let's strive to find joy in each moment, even the difficult ones. I promise you that in all the things that seem out of our control are that way for a reason, and that God will guide us on the path we are meant to be on. Will you pray with me? Dear God, I thank you for everyone here and for the time that we get to spend together. I just ask that you help us to let go of the things that are not in our control and work on putting our trust in you. Let us seek you and your goodness in all that we do. Amen.